So 2022 kind of sucked a little bit, right? I'm really hoping that this wasn't just a me thing, but that whole year sucked. It was really just a mess. Especially considering 2021 was the best year of my whole life. And then the follow-up was just atrocious. I will quite absolutely not be letting that happen to me again because I physically cannot take it, I don't think. So in order to not have a repeat of that, here is what I'm gonna do to make 2023 a little bit better. I always feel like the best way to go about this is to figure out what went so terribly, horribly, awfully wrong and do the opposite of that. So the first thing that I know sucked in 2022 that I'm going to try and do less of in 2023 is comparing myself to others. I know this has been like an issue for me my whole life, and it's probably been an issue for most people. It's just sort of a very human thing to compare yourself to others and be worried that you're not measuring up. But I think last year was probably the worst it's ever been for me. And I feel like that might just be because of the life stage that I'm in right now, like being in my early 20s. And obviously I was doing my first year of post-grad, and so I was suddenly surrounded by all of these people who were way smarter than me. And then also I feel like everyone I know that wasn't still at uni or was finishing uni was like making these big career moves, and I have quite certainly not been even taking a step in the direction of a career. And then also on top of that, every single person on earth is getting married, and by that I mean like 2 people that I know. But other than that, everyone seems to be in these like long-term serious relationships. It seems to be like settling down time, and I'm still in the stage where I cannot like the same person for more than 2 business days. So I feel like I'm doing something kind of not quite right. I think I just spent last year thinking about how everyone around me seemed so normal, and then just like looking at myself in comparison and being like, oh my god, I'm truly just this weird, messed up, little dysfunctional freak of a thing who is making a proper mess of her life. So I don't know, I feel like maybe feeling that way probably didn't help my year be a good one. So anyway, the main thing that I'm doing about fixing this is, honestly, I think to just realize that everyone else kind of also feels like a little messed up, dysfunctional freak, which is cool. So I did a poll on my Instagram basically asking who felt this way, and the vast majority of people said that, yeah, they do feel this way. And also so many of the people who said that they feel this way were the people that I had been comparing myself to and being like, wow, this person is truly the epitome of being a good and normal person. And so knowing that they also feel like there's something quite seriously wrong with them was a little bit reassuring, which sounds a little bit messed up to say out loud actually now that I'm thinking about it. But it's just kind of that idea of common humanity, and that all of our experiences are something that other people are also having. Like we're not really suffering alone. Also, it's kind of helpful to look at them and think that, okay, if they think that there's something wrong with them, and there doesn't seem to be to me, so they might be wrong about this, then maybe the same could be true for me. And maybe there's not actually something super terribly wrong with me. I'll work on believing that. So that is the first thing that I'm going to be trying to do a little bit differently. The second thing is that I'm going to try to be a bit more real and open and honest about things. Like I'm going to talk about my feelings more and share my honest thoughts. I think I spent a lot of last year feeling not very much like myself. I don't know, I just kind of felt like I constantly was putting on a little bit of a show, you know? It just didn't feel like me. I felt kind of fake, to be honest. And I think I come across as someone who overshares a lot. Like I'm comfortable talking about things, clearly, on the internet, but a lot of the time I do feel like I'm maybe watering it down because I'm worried about what people might think or say about me. Also, I feel like I've always been so bad at talking about my feelings. I'm not good at it. Like I can't do it without making a joke, so I think that's probably something I would like to work on. But I feel like a lot of this kind of whole fake persona thing comes down to being worried a lot about what other people think of me. And obviously, as much as I would like to just stop caring what other people think of me, I think it's not exactly realistic that I will be able to suddenly do that when that is such a person thing to do. So I've basically just been trying to do what I would like to do, regardless of how worried I am about what people might think about it. Like doing a stupid poll every day on my Instagram. But I feel weird about doing that. I'm like, a part of me is just worried that people will be looking at it and thinking, what the fuck? why is this girl posting things on her own story? Who does she think she is? But I've just been doing it anyway. And I think I've been being maybe overly honest in my own answers there. And I mean, the world hasn't ended at all. Like, as far as I'm aware, no one's actually said anything mean about it. And if they had, nothing bad's happened to me as a result of it. So I guess it's that whole bit about I'm doing the thing that makes me worried, and I'm receiving evidence that my fears were unfounded and maybe a little bit irrational. And that's hopefully going to make it easier going forward for me to keep doing the scary things. Also, it's honestly just felt really, really nice to talk so honestly about the things that I think. And so that's something I really would like to be doing more of in all areas of my life this year, is just be very, very real about the things that I think. I just think 2022 really made me realize that pretending to be someone I'm not sucks a lot worse than being who I actually am and having a few people think that I'm cringe or annoying or whatever. I think I would rather be cringe and happy than a sad little guy. Okay, the next thing that I am going to be doing to make this year better than the last one is to actually do things. And I think that this is a combination of a lot of things that made last year suck, one of which being that I just really did not leave my house. If I didn't have a class, I really struggled to find any reason to kind of go out. And for the second trimester of last year, all of my classes were on a Monday. So that was the one day a week that I actually had that I really had a reason to leave. And that's so stupid, because I know that I feel so much better when I am leaving my house, when I'm putting on a stupid little outfit and I go outside and I go and I do things. So this year I have been trying very hard to leave the house more. I used to always try and put all of my outside the house activities on 1 or 2 days, but now I'm trying to spread them out as much as I physically can so that I have a reason to leave the house as many days as possible. Trying to put all my uni things on different days, and then also all of my other activity things on different days. I think, yeah, putting things on as many different days as I can is big smart brain moves. Also, I'm trying to say yes more when people ask me to go and do things. If I say yes to something, even when I don't really feel like doing it, I always end up having a good time. So I'm trying to do more of that. And then the other part of the doing things is that I'm going to have a little bit more of a routine. Last year, I literally had no routine at all, no schedule, no habits. My life was it was just there. I would start the week with a list of things that I had to do that week and would just do them whenever I felt like doing them. This was the worst way I possibly could have gone about being alive, I think. So what I've started doing instead this year is giving myself 3 big tasks every single day. And these are just 3 tasks that I have to do during that day. No excuses. If I have time after, I can do other things on my to-do list. But as long as I get these 3 things done, then I will be pleased with myself. Also, I am doing them in the morning because I know that my fatal flaw is telling myself that I'll do something in the afternoon and spend the morning just like reading or chilling or hanging out. I will never do anything in the afternoon. And I think I know this when I tell myself that I'll do it in the afternoon. I'm always like, oh, today's going to be different. I'm actually going to do it. No, I'm not going to do it. I don't do things in the afternoon. My brain literally turns off by 2 p.m. If I don't have the momentum from starting in the morning, I find it so much harder to get started on doing things. It's like that, the things at rest stay me. I'm the thing at rest. I stay at rest. And then if I'm in motion in the morning, I get things done, But yeah, with my 3 things, I promise I do them. I can't remember where I read it, but one of the most important things that you can do for yourself is make doable promises to yourself and then actually follow through with them. Because otherwise you lose trust in yourself and you lose kind of a lot of your sense of self-discipline because you just become someone who doesn't do the things that you say you're going to do. And 3 things is literally so manageable. Like, if I promise myself I'm going to do 3 things, it's not an overwhelming amount. And it's not like I'm putting insane things on there. Like, it's not going to be, write the entire introduction for your thesis today. It's like, today's 3 are film this video, film another video that I have, and read the first 2 chapters of a textbook for my thesis. That's 3 things, It's It's not going to be overwhelming. It's all completely doable. And I feel like the things might get a little bit bigger when I'm properly back into uni, which actually today technically is my first day back at uni for the year. So that explains maybe why I woke up feeling really, really joyful. I felt so bad for the last couple of months. Like, it's not even funny. I've just had the worst time. This is the first time since I've started uni where I haven't been studying. It's been awful. Like, I always did a summer paper every year before this, but this year I didn't. And I've just felt so stressed about not being at school. I hate it. I was not built for not learning. Okay, and the very last thing that I'm doing to make this year less awful is that I'm trying to figure out how to make my dopamine more normal. I figured out that of all of the neurotransmitters that mess with your mood, dopamine is the one for me that has the biggest effect. Like, serotonin has never really been that bothersome to me, which is probably why SSRIs never did anything whatsoever for my mood. But then the antidepressant that I'm on now, which targets dopamine, is the only one that's ever actually been useful at all in any way. Like, I know that dopamine is such a huge issue for me in so many areas, like in terms of my motivation and my consistency. And also I learned about, I don't know if anyone cares about psychology whatsoever, but if you know about anhedonia, which is like a symptom of depression where you feel like not very much pleasure in your life. I learned in one of my courses last year that there's two different kinds of anhedonia. There's one where you do things and you don't really experience pleasure from it, and then there is the kind where you can't really anticipate that there's going to be pleasure from doing things, so you just don't do them in the first place. And that second one is the one that's more dopamine related because you don't view any reward kind of going on. I think I'm explaining this right. I might just be actually completely wrong, but this is how I understood it. And that second one is what was the issue for me, I think. But yeah, that's just something sidetrack found interesting. Dopamine. I was talking about it. I am going to work on fixing it. The annoying thing is that I know everything that I'm doing wrong and everything I would need to change to fix it, but it is just so hard. And I also know that that is because the whole point of dopamine is that it is literally addictive. The whole bit of it is that it's hard to not do these things. I think I might do a video about like dopamine detoxing when I've actually properly figured it out, but at the moment a couple of the things that I am doing is, for one, I'm not using my phone for at least the first hour every day, and then the same thing before I go to bed. I've also downloaded that app where every time I try to open Twitter, it makes me like pause and take a breath and decide whether I still want to open it. And literally that has cut my Twitter usage down by like 900%. I downloaded the app being like, this is actually not going to do anything, like I'm not going to care, I'm just going to wait the second and then go. But I genuinely go to open Twitter, the thing comes up to tell me to breathe, and I'm like, I can't be arsed. Like, I really just can't be bothered waiting. And so I close the app and I put down my phone. It is, I'm so shocked. I'm so shocked. Anyway, sidetracked by the helpful app. What else am I doing? I've deleted all the little games off my phone, except for solitaire. I play one game of solitaire a day. I've turned all my notifications off for social media and dating apps, and I suppose that I am trying to eat a little bit less chocolate. Definitely not all of the bit less chocolate, because, but definitely a little bit less. Anyway, that's pretty much it. But like, thinking about it now and all of the things that I think made 2022 suck so bad for me, a lot of it comes down to the fact that I think I was just really, really uncomfortable with myself and just with so much of my life. I genuinely just think I spent 100% of last year experiencing this immense discomfort, which definitely explains probably why I was having not a fun time at all. So this year I think I'm just gonna try to feel more comfortable with myself. And also, I would love to feel other feelings that aren't comfort and discomfort. I genuinely am so unaware of experiencing any feeling other than discomfort. Like, growing up, I never really learned how to have feelings or how to identify what I was feeling. So I have low emotional intelligence, I think that's called. I have a book about it actually that I'm gonna read, and I'll get back to you about emotional intelligence. I really have never been able to notice what I'm feeling. I'm just like, bad, that's what I'm feeling, which isn't an emotion. So this year I'm definitely working on trying to notice what I actually am feeling, because I feel like it's kind of hard to deal with bad feelings if you cannot identify what the bad feelings are. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get one of those like feeling wheels that they give to babies and use that. It might help. Anyway, that's it. 2023 will be better by force. Yeah. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done that before. Like this video if you thought that it was okay at all. And leave a comment about how your 2022 was and how you would like for your 2023 to be. Okay, love you, bye.